Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a video about how to get your life together in college. I can't say I'm a complete expert on this subject yet, but we're getting there. I guess we'll just jump right in. So my first tip about how to get your life together in college is to keep your shit clean. I know this is really hard sometimes, especially when you don't have a whole lot of time to actually clean everything. It's really hard to be productive and to stay productive and to not procrastinate when all of your shit's all over the place. I am guilty of this all the time. If my room's not clean, my life isn't clean, my head is just kind of like, yeah, it can wait until tomorrow. And in reality, it's like it can't wait. Tip number 2 is to use to-do lists and calendars. It's so much easier to get everything done when you know exactly what you need to get done. So I always write them out. You can do this in your phone or you can actually have a physical notebook. I like a notebook because I like writing them down and crossing things off as I go. But I know a lot of people use their phones for this kind of thing, and it's also kind of a lot easier to keep track of because you don't have to carry a notebook everywhere. But I digress. It's so much easier to keep track of what you have to do when you have a to-do list and when you have a calendar, so you know exactly when shit needs to be done. You know exactly what you have to get done on what day. It's also really helpful to schedule out your time as well. So if you have 3 projects due within the same week, schedule your time out starting on Monday and be like, I'm gonna work on this project for 2 hours, and then my next project for 2 hours, and then my next project for another 2 hours. 6 hours is a lot of time to work on homework, but when you have 3 projects due, sometimes you can't help it. This really helps to make sure you don't procrastinate on everything and you can always get everything done in the right amount of time. I cannot tell you how many times I procrastinated and hated myself for it. It was not a fun time. Not a fun time. Learn from my mistakes, okay? Tip number 3, at least for me, is look good, feel good. I am definitely someone that when I look like a bum, I tend to feel like a bum and I don't do as much. I cannot tell you how many times that I've made a to-do list and done everything right and then just not gotten ready that morning, so then I end up sitting around and watching Netflix all day. It's definitely a lot easier to feel better on the inside when you feel like you're putting your best foot forward. If makeup's not your thing, if getting dressed isn't your thing, and honestly it doesn't help you, then that's totally fine. But if you find yourself struggling, then maybe try to look a little bit more presentable or try to put a little bit more effort into your appearance and how you come off to other people, because it does actually help, at least for me. Number 5 is don't forget to eat. I'm guilty of this a lot, actually. I get going and then I won't eat a meal in 12 hours and I'm like, shit, I don't feel very good. And I'm like, oh wait, yeah, that's because I had avocado toast this morning and nothing since. Don't forget to eat and make sure it's mostly healthy food. Obviously, if you're out running errands and you're out and about and you don't have time to go home and make yourself a healthy meal, just try to stop by somewhere that has a little bit more healthier options instead of just going through the McDonald's drive-thru and getting a double cheeseburger with fries. It really helps your body perform at its best and it helps you get everything together when your body is feeling at its best. Also, make sure that you're always drinking water. I feel like I say this in a lot of my videos. Make sure that you're hydrated. Do not let yourself get dehydrated. Water is our best friend. We love her. Another tip is to exercise. Starting healthy habits like exercising actually really does help you get your shit together. I know I feel like garbage when I don't exercise. I also feel crappy about the way my body looks. Exercising just makes me feel better in general. It actually releases endorphins in your brain, so you do feel better after you exercise. That's pretty scientific. Another tip that I have is to wake up early. I hate sleeping in. I know this is kind of weird, especially for a college student to say because so many college students sleep in a lot, but I actually hate sleeping in. I feel like it makes me way less productive. I feel lazy. I just feel gross all the time when I sleep in too late. I also just don't get as much done. So I love waking up early, getting my shit done, and then I can do kind of whatever else I want the rest of the day. Number 8 on my tips for how to get your life together is to set habits that work for you and to stick to them. Everybody has different habits that work best for them. Mine is writing down my to-do lists and then also exercising in the morning versus at night. meal prepping so I don't have to make as much food during the week, etc, etc. But not everybody uses the same type of thing. Not everything works for everybody, and that's just kind of a trial and error process where you have to figure out what you're good at, what works for you, and then you also have to commit to sticking to it. Number 9 to get your life together is to budget yourself a little bit. I'm really bad at this. I see it and I buy it. It's very, very bad. I've been trying to get better. I actually just downloaded Clio today so that Clio can roast me every time that I spend too much money on something that's completely unnecessary. Try to budget yourself. It's really hard to in college, but when you're not working a full-time salaried job, obviously you don't have as much income, and it's also really, really stressful if you, for whatever reason, have credit card debt or hit your overdraft or do whatever to the point where like you're poor. You don't want to hit that wall. The last tip I have for you guys is to surround yourself with good people. It's so much easier to have your life together when everybody around you is also getting their life together. I wouldn't necessarily say that you can't have those friends that just like to get messy sometimes, because those are good friends to have, especially when you also like to get messy sometimes. But don't make that your only friend. There are certain people in your life for certain things. So I like to surround myself with people that are really good at getting their life together, that are motivated, that are productive, because that helps me be more productive. Make sure that when you're picking your friends and picking your friend group, that you're picking a friend group that also has goals in mind. That doesn't mean that you can't hang out with everybody. You can hang out with certain people, but just know what you have to get done and then surround yourself with those good people that will help you get those done and will help you reach your goals. Kind of a bonus tip. I had 10, and then the last one I was like, oh yeah, you know, I could do one more. This last one is to always make sure that you are taking time to self-care. Self-care is a big thing. Don't go and then die. Make sure you are taking those times to rest, especially if you're overwhelmed. Make sure you're like chilling out a wee bit. Take time, do a face mask, have a wine night. Do whatever you gotta do so that you don't get burnt out and that you can remain motivated. I hope you guys enjoyed all of these tips for how to get your life together in college. Honestly, this isn't like super college specific, but since I'm in college, I feel like I should just apply it to college students. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for all of the support. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go if you're new here. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah!